Hey guys, I know I look a little bit funny because I've got pretty much my whole face done except for my blush, bronzer, highlight, and eyes. And that is because this video is going to be on the Tarte Collab with Grav3yardgirl here on YouTube, and this is the Swamp Queen Palette. And funny story, I already filmed this whole look. That is why the cover photo is going to be different than what I'm wearing today. And that's because my SD card literally just stopped working. It wasn't reading, and at any time I would insert it into my computer, it just got like really hot. So I bought a new SD card, and unfortunately I lost that footage, so I'm going to try to recreate the look today. Hopefully it comes out as nice. You know when you like have the perfect look, everything's blended so perfectly, everything matches your outfit, and it's all wonderful? Yeah, that's how that day was. But no, my SD card had to be a jerk, and I lost 4 hours of pre-filmed footage that I've had to make up for you guys. So I'm really sorry that this video is a little bit later than I anticipated, and God, Sassy Brow is on point today. This brow is just, it's not. I don't know why. So just ignore the fact that this brow does not look as good as this brow. I don't know why that happens. They're sisters, not twins, but that is not a good enough excuse in my opinion. Moving on to the palette. As I mentioned, this is Grav3yardgirl's collab with Tarte. Her name is Bunny. She is here on YouTube. She is fabulous. She does a lot of really good videos. They're not all makeup oriented. A lot of them are like, does this thing really work? And she has unboxings from stuff from her fans and tea vlogs and a lot of stuff. So I love Bunny. I am a subscriber to her channel. I think she's wonderful. This palette is limited edition. You can currently buy it in Ulta stores, and I don't know if it's on Sephora's website, but it will be in Sephora's as well. It is limited edition. Tarte isn't going to sell it on their website anymore. It's like gone from the website, so if you want it, you need to either go to an Ulta or a Sephora. And there were plenty in my Ulta when I bought this last week. Well, actually my mom bought it for me. Thanks, Mom. There were like 5 or 6 left in my Ulta, but that was about a week ago. So if you are interested in getting this palette, I do suggest you head over to your local Ulta or call your local Ulta first and see if they still have it. Call your local Sephora, see if they still have it. I really do like this palette. I've gotten to use it a lot since I've gotten it. And also on that footage, I did like a complete first impression of this palette where I had never used it before. I did this really pretty gold eye, and then I had a full review also pre-filmed, and I did this really pretty purple eye, which I'm going to try to recreate today. So I'm sorry that you guys don't get to see me open it and use it for the first time. I wasn't anticipating that footage just burning up, literally. But that's okay. Now I can really tell you my thoughts on this palette, tell you that I do like it, and I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you a couple of things that aren't my favorite about this palette, but I'm willing to look past, if that makes sense. But first we will get on to packaging. So this is gorgeous packaging. It feels nice and solid. I like this faux wood with the gator wings and the gold embossed lettering here. It just says Tarte Grav3yardgirl Swamp Queen. I really like the gold sides here. This feels like a very high quality palette. It retails for $45, which I do think is a very fair price for what you get in this palette. So opening it up, you have this very nice large mirror here, and then you've got 9 eyeshadows, a blush, a bronzer, and a highlight. And then it does come with this brush here. And when I first got this, I was like, oh, this brush is gonna be a piece of crap. It's actually really good for laying down your side and crease shade and then blending it out with a fluffier brush after that. I just wish that this was double-ended. I feel like it was a waste to only put a brush on one side. I feel like this is an excellent brush for laying down your crease shade or really carving out like a C shape around your eyes to really make your eyes look bigger. But you can't blend it out because there's nothing on the other side. It just really isn't gonna cut it and give you exactly what you need out of the look. You're gonna need something that's a little bit more fluffy to blend it out. So they should have been thinking about that. Like, I know a lot of younger people and a lot of maybe makeup beginners are gonna be buying this palette because they love Bunny so much, and they're not gonna have all the brushes they need because this is good for laying down color, like a lid shade or a crease shade, but you can't blend it out. It's not fluffy enough. So it would have been really nice if they put like a fluffy blending brush on the other side. But that's really my only qualms when it comes to this brush. It is really nice, it is useful, but it would have been better for it to be double-sided. I don't know. It's just a little thing. I still like it, but could have been better. One thing I like about Tarte Cosmetics is all of their products are formulated without parabens, mineral oil, phthalates, triclosan, sodium lauryl sulfate, and gluten. And they are dermatologist tested, so that is very nice. The palette smells kind of like vanilla or like white chocolate. It reminds me of, I don't know, like a vanilla cookie or something. So it smells really, really nice. You have a nice mixture of mattes and shimmers in this palette. You get 3 mattes, 4 shimmers, 1 metallic, and then 1 that's like super glittery. And then you've got your highlight, your blush, and your bronzer, like I mentioned. On the mirror here, it says, believe in yourself, love yourself, embrace your individuality. It's not very catchy, but it's a really nice sentiment, so I like that. And it is a really big mirror. It's kind of glorious, actually. I really like this. Like I said, Tarte's packaging is top-notch. I adore their packaging, and this is no different. This is absolutely wonderful. The packaging is flawless. I love the eyeshadows in this palette. There are a couple things that I'm not the biggest fan of. One is the color Sippy Sippy. It is a really dark brown that has these huge like chunks of glitter in it. So I'm sure you can see them reflecting in the camera there, which is fine. It's very different from other browns that I've seen, but the problem is that the glitter did get into my eyeballs when I used it, and that wasn't very comfortable. I really would have liked to have seen that brown be like a really dark matte brown, because then you could have used it as your eyeliner and even use it in your waterline. I don't suggest doing that because you would get glitter all up in your eyeballs, and that's not particularly nice. But other than that, the shadows in here are magnificent. I love them all. The bronzer is extremely warm. So it's not necessarily orange, but it is definitely very warm for someone of my skin tone. I am very fair. If I had a tan going on, it would be just fine. But even if you are of darker complexion, it will look good on you, but you're not gonna be able to contour with it. So that is why I have a contour on already today. I am gonna use the bronzer, but solely to bronze my face. I do like a more cooler toned contour, so I'm wearing the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer on my cheekbones here. But it is a warm bronzer. It is very pretty. It is very pigmented. So if you are fair like me, you need to be careful. The blush is very beautiful. Also very pigmented though, so you might want to be a little bit careful when you apply that. And the highlight is really beautiful. It is gorgeous. It is super intense, but there are again chunks of glitter in here. If you don't like glitter in your highlight, then you probably won't like this highlight very much. I'm okay with it because it's not straight up glitter on the cheeks. There is like a nice buttery highlight in there that kind of just melts into the skin, but you also have those chunks of glitter. But I am in love with this palette. I don't really care that Sippy Sippy is glittery. I think that the highlight is very pretty despite the glitter, and even though this is a warm toned bronzer, I do find that this works to warm up my face very well as long as I'm careful with it. So you're gonna see me try to be very, very careful with it. It is kind of hard to get your brushes into the bronzer and the blush because when they're as pigmented as these are, you kind of want a more fluffy, bigger brush. And this, I even have to be careful tapping this in so I don't get them into each other. But I do find that this works just fine. Like this is the Morphe E3, and I also have the like Real Techniques blush brush. So these do work, but you have to be careful, and it kind of lays them down a little bit more pigmented than I would like. So I just very lightly touch my skin with the brush so I don't look like a clown. I've seen a couple of people like reviewing this palette, and I was like, oh, girl, you gotta be more careful. But I am gonna go ahead and do a full look using this palette. So I am gonna start off with the eyes. And the first thing I'm gonna do is take the shade Big Baby, and I am going to lay it all over my lids. I did prime my lids with my concealer. Big Baby is just a nice flesh tone for me. I'm pretty fair, so it's pretty much an exact match to my skin. But it is perfect for setting any primers or concealers that you put on your lids to prep the eyes. Next, I'm going to take the shade Natural Peaches, and I'm just going to apply this from my crease to a little bit above, just to really give myself a nice transition shade and to add a little bit of dimension to my eye. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm mostly going to be covering this up with purple shadows actually, but I just wanted to lay down a transition shade so everything blended better and there weren't any like harsh lines once I laid that purple down. Next, I'm going to take the shade Haunting, which is the lightest purple in this palette, and I'm going to just take it on the same brush. This is the Morphe M200, and I'm pretty much going to apply it all over my lid and up into my crease as well. This color is really gorgeous. I think it's probably my favorite shade in this palette. It's just so beautiful and subtle, and it's just like the most gorgeous light, cool toned lavender almost. Next, I'm going to be taking the shade Man Cat, and I'm going to be using the brush that came with the palette to do this today, and I'm essentially going to take this above my crease because I have hooded lids, so I'm going to go above my crease and then make a C around my eyes, and this is going to make my eyes look a little bit bigger, and it's going to make my lids look a little bit less hooded. If you don't have hooded eyes, you can put this directly in your crease, but if I did that, you just wouldn't be able to see this color. And I'm just going to carefully lay this down above my crease, and I'm going to blend it out later. Look at him. What are you doing? Get off the table. Oh my God. That is what I have after I've laid that color down before I've blended it out. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it down on my other eye, and then I will blend it out real quick. And now I'm going to take my Morphe M200 again and just blend this out so there aren't any harsh lines. Okay, so we are looking good so far. Next, I'm going to take the shade Uncommon right here, and I'm actually going to take this with my finger and I'm going to lay it onto the lid from the kind of 3/4 of the outer lid all the way kind of towards the inner third. There is often a lot of fallout with these shadows, so be careful. I tend to do the rest of my face after I do my eyes, but just because I'm going to work and I'm getting ready, I really wanted to show you guys the whole face, which is why I'm doing my eyes after my base, but keep that in mind if you're doing this at home. For under my eyes, I'm going to take this shade right here, Haunting again. And I'm just going to take this Wet n Wild brush, but you can also use the brush from the palette for this. And I'm just going to go under my eyes with it to kind of tie in all that purple. I'm not going to smoke it out really any farther than that. I don't want to look like a raccoon, but I did want to tie the look together. And I'm just going to take whatever's left on the brush with the color Man Cat on it and kind of go in the lower outer corner. I'm going to take just the littlest bit of the highlight shade in the palette, Gator Wings, and I'm going to put that on the center of my lid just to kind of add a little bit of shine and dimension. It didn't do too much, but it does add some dimension to the eye and really make it pop. Next, I'm going to tightline and line my waterline using the NYX Très Jolie liner in the shade Black. I'm going to take just the tiniest bit on my upper lash line here, but I'm going to try to make this as thin as possible because I have hooded lids and I don't want to like cover up all the purple that I did. I just want to do just the tiniest bit. Now all I have left to do for my eyes is my inner corner highlight, my brow bone highlight, and my mascara. So real quick, I'm going to do my mascara and then I'm going to move on to the rest of my face. I'm using the Tarte mascara today. I love this stuff. I think it's amazing. It just gives you the most big, bold, beautiful lashes. Okay, so that is my lashes with the amazing Tarte mascara on it. And there's the baby. And this video isn't sponsored, by the way. I know I'm using a couple of Tarte products, but I purchased both of these myself. Well, actually, this was a gift and I purchased the mascara myself, so this isn't sponsored. I just really like their products. I'm going to take my Morphe E3 brush and I'm going to very delicately dip it in the bronzer, which is called Sweet Tea, and tap off any excess. And I'm gonna so like super lightly put this on my forehead, because if I use too much, I can very quickly look a little bit like an Oompa Loompa, because I am so fair and this is very, very warm. So I am just very lightly applying this. I really do like this bronzer as long as I am careful with it, which I am because I know I have to be. So I think even if you're very pale, you will be able to use this as a bronzer, because I mean, look at me, I'm pretty darn pale. Just keep that in mind when you are using this. You don't want to just like dip your brush in it unless you really like to look super bronzy in the warmest way possible. Next, I'm going to take the blush, which is called Does This Thing Really Work? I'm going to take it on my Real Techniques blush brush, and I'm going to get that all sorts of up in that blush, but not too much. And I'm going to extremely lightly put it on my cheeks. It's better to start out softer and build it up with this blush, because this blush is like super intense. There is a little bit of sparkle in this blush, but personally, I think that it is really pretty. I like it a lot. It is right up my alley as far as blush colors go, and I did go a little bit overboard today, but we gonna work with it. Moving on to highlight. I'm going to take the highlight shade Gator Wings and get it on my brush. I'm using the Morphe M501, and I am going to go under my brow bone with this to highlight that, obviously. I'm also gonna take it on the brush that came with this palette, and I'm gonna take it into my inner corners to really brighten them up as well and make me look more awake than I feel today. As you can see, it does make a really pretty like inner corner highlight. I personally think that it looks lovely. Now I'm gonna take my Morphe M501, put it back into Gator Wings, tap off the excess, which when you do, most of the glitter like falls off. So if you don't like a lot of glitter, I suggest you do that, or else it's going on your face. And I'm just going to apply it where I always highlight, which would be my cheekbones and around my temple here. I'm gonna do it on the other side. I'm gonna do down my nose, the tip of my nose, my Cupid's bow, and that should be about it. This is a really gorgeous highlight. It is very intense, which I personally love, and there is glitter in it, but like I said, if you tap off your brush, like I can just see it, it's just all over the table now, you can get off most of the glitter. I'm gonna go down the bridge of my nose and just do the tip of my nose and my Cupid's bow. That's really pretty, okay? I like it. I like it a lot. And last, I just have my lips to do. So I could not find any of the collaborations between Bunny and Tarte for the lips, which were Texas Toast, and then, I don't know, I think the other one was called Swamp Queen or something. It was like super red. Maybe it wasn't Swamp Queen. I don't know what it was called, but I didn't get it, so that is not important. So I'm gonna wear the shade Cancun from Ofra. They make my favorite liquid lipsticks. The only thing about these, I think they smell like burning wood or something. I think they're kind of stinky. Like, I think they smell really bad, but this should pretty much match my scrubs. And I think it's gonna go with the eye look really well. So I'm gonna go with Cancun from Ofra. And this is the finished look. Hi, mister. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and review of the Tarte and Grav3yardgirl Swamp Queen palette. I really enjoyed making it for you. I absolutely love this palette, and I really do recommend it if you can get your hands on it. Like I said, if you're interested in this palette, it is $45, and it's really only available now in Ulta stores and in Sephora stores. It might be available on Sephora.com, but I am not exactly sure. So I will look before I post this video, and if it is, I will put it in the links down below. But if not, call your local Sephora or Ulta and see if they have it before you head over there, because it's always really sad when you like go to a store like really hoping they have something and it's not there. But anyway, guys, I really do recommend this. I absolutely love it. If you do have this palette already, let me know what you think of the palette down in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, because I'd love to know. If you did, be sure you give it a thumbs up. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram at BeautyObsessedRN. Subscribe to my channel for more videos each week. Just hit that subscribe button below. And as I mentioned earlier, I love your comments, so send me a love note and I will try to reply. I love you all so much. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye!
My favorite Pokemon are probably Pikachu, Charmander, and Jigglypuff.